Fighters on this Saturday's Showtime Boxing Special Edition. We will be live 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific on Saturday, October 24th. Terrific lineup. I think perhaps one of the sleeper cards in terms of excitement that we'll see on Saturday night in this whole Showtime lineup. The number of fights that we've been doing during our Mohegan Sun residency. I think this may be one of those sleeper cards that's going to be action-packed from start to finish. I think you guys will agree as we go through the talent today. Once again, we're at Mohegan Sun in Uncasville, Connecticut on Saturday to continue with the residency in the sort of COVID-19 era here. No fans in attendance yet. And on the eve of what will be the Halloween thriller at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, headlined by Gervonta Tank Davis and Leo Santa Cruz. So an exciting 2-week back-to-back run. We'll start on Showtime, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific this Saturday night. Special thanks, as always, to Thomas Cantone and the Mohegan Sun for doing a great job of hosting us, keeping us in a safe and sustained production environment. It's been really great for our fighters, as good as it can be under the circumstances, of course. So appreciate Thomas Cantone and the entire staff from the hotel to the arena operations and otherwise. Thank you to them. TGB Promotions, Lee Baxter Promotions, and Mayweather Promotions are bringing us this great fight. So a number of good fighters from around the world really joining us on this card, including a late replacement in our main event that we'll get to shortly. Joining us first, Subriel Matias. He is 15-1 with a terrific 15 KO, 100% KO rate on his victories. Matias is coming off of a loss on the Wilder Fury 2 undercard, and I think looking to get back on track in the 140-pound division. Good afternoon, Subriel. Thanks for joining us. To Corey and Jason, we have a muted camera on the fighter end. Perhaps Colin Bradley, that's up to you to control.
Colin, can you please unmute on your laptop?
Colin or Steve Pratt, if you guys can hear us at Mohegan, please unmute on the laptop. Folks, stand by. Let me give a call offline here. I'm just going to put myself on hold for a moment.
I think we got it, Chris.
Oh. Subriel, good afternoon.
Sure. Buenas tardes.
Okay, we can hear you now. We have Sammy from TGB Promotions here to help us to translate. So thanks for joining us, Sammy. Subriel, tell us about your anticipation for this fight. It was scheduled for the springtime and, of course, got postponed like all other sporting events and many boxing matches, and now is on the schedule. We're just a couple of days away. Tell us about your level of anticipation to get back into the ring.
Esta pelea originalmente era para abril, con todo lo que le pasó con el COVID. Obviamente no ha habido pelea. ¿Cómo te sientes hoy, sabiendo que la pelea es solamente 2 días de hoy?
Pues mira, realmente física y mentalmente me siento en extraordinarias condiciones y es lo que vamos a demostrar el 24 de octubre, o sea, el sábado.
He says he feels good. He knows the fight was supposed to happen earlier, but it doesn't change anything. He feels good physically, mentally, and he's prepared. He's ready for Saturday.
Okay, terrific. I understand that you have changed trainers from Antonio Otero to Freddie Trinidad now. Tell us about how your preparations have gone with the new trainer and maybe what was the impetus behind the change.
Cambiaste entrenadores, ahora estás con Freddie Trinidad. ¿Cómo te has sentido en esta preparación para la pelea y qué cambios ha habido comparado al otro entrenador que tenías?
Pues mira, el cambio fue, ¿verdad? Decisión de mi promotor. Él hizo los cambios y nada, como empleado acá atado, ¿verdad? A sus órdenes. Y van a ver al mismo Subriel de siempre, aguerrido, que le gusta destruir a sus oponentes. Y nada, estamos ansiosos.
He said the change of promoter, change of trainer, sorry, was made by his promoter. But that in terms of himself, he's still the same Matias who likes to go in there and try to destroy his opponent. And really, that's really. He said the biggest change is from himself mentally. Just be prepared, and he's anxious. He's ready to get in the ring this Saturday.
Very good. I'm going to ask the press who are joining us to use the raise hand function on this Zoom to get in queue to ask a question of Matias. Excuse me, of Subriel. If you have any questions from the press, please punch in. And we'll start with Keith Heidick from Boxing Scene. Keith, thanks very much.
There you go.
Yes, I was just wondering what you think of Malik Hawkins' level of competition before you fought him, and do you think he's ready for this type of fight?
Tu oponente, la oposición que ha tenido comparada a la tuya, ¿tú piensas que él está preparado para alguien como tú?
Pues mira, ustedes son los conocedores de boxeo. Creo que ustedes pueden sacar sus propias conclusiones. Según tengo entendido, él alega, este servidor no ha peleado con nadie. Pues vamos a ver qué pasa el sábado.
He said, you guys are the boxing guys, and that you guys would know how to answer that question yourselves, and that on Saturday he'll give you the answer to see if Malik is ready for someone like himself.
How much motivation has it provided him to have suffered his first loss, and what does he think went wrong in that fight for him?
¿Cuánta motivación has tenido viniendo de tu primer pelea y cómo crees que eso te va a ayudar para este sábado?
Disculpa.
¿Cómo te has sentido saliendo de tu primera pelea? ¿Cómo has sentido que eso te va a ayudar para este sábado?
Cuando dice mi primera pelea.
Tu primera pérdida, perdón.
Pues mira, nada, creo que en el boxeo no hay nada escrito y cada acto tiene una consecuencia y a mí me toca afrontar las mías.
He said that in boxing, everyone pays the consequences, and he paid his consequences, considering last camp wasn't the best one, but that he's motivated this time and he's ready to prove everyone wrong and show the real him on Saturday.
Why was his last camp, not good for him?
En tu último entrenamiento, ¿qué sientes que pasó mal?
No pasó nada. Mi oponente me superó. Las excusas son para los perdedores. No tengo nada que decir al respecto. Ustedes pueden sacar las conclusiones el sábado, después de la pelea.
He said excuses are for losers. He has nothing to say. His opponent got the better of him, and that come Saturday, you'll see the difference.
And my last question for him is, how does he feel that beating Hawkins can get him back on track to where he was before he lost in February?
¿Cómo sientes una ganada este sábado con Hawkins? ¿Te va a regresar a donde estabas antes de tu primer derrota?
Pues mira, creo que mi derrota, ¿verdad?, no se borra. Para mí, no sé, todos, ¿verdad?, tienen una opinión sobre Malik. Yo tengo una distinta que la voy a dejar para
Hey, Sammy, if you can hear us, the audio was a little scratchy. Can you give us a mic check, Sammy?
Mic check, 1, 2.
That's much better. Sorry to interrupt you. Please go ahead.
Yes.
No, stand by. Microphone fix coming. Anthony or Colin, Steve on the ground. Can you guys let us know if we're ready to go? Subriel, can you give us a audio check? Stand by, folks. Some technical difficulty here. We're still not hearing you, Sammy. No, we're not hearing you guys unless you can give us a mic check, please. Corey or Jason, can you guys help us out?
Yep, we're on the line
Hola.
to Anthony. Figure out what's going on.
Mic check.
There we go.
I hear you, Sammy.
Okay. Can we repeat that question again, please?
Yeah, Keith, if you're still, your line should still be open, Keith. If you can re-ask that question, please.
Yes, I was just wondering if he could tell us what he feels a win over Hawkins can do in terms of putting him back on track to where he was headed before he lost.
Realmente no sé dónde ustedes, ¿verdad? Lo tengan a él puesto en la 140. Entiendo que para mí, ¿sabes? No lo veo como lo pintan. Y el sábado lo vamos a dejar saber.
He said, really, that would be up to you guys and see where you rank Malik and really what a win with him would mean to you. But in his mind, he doesn't think that way. He just knows that he's just coming for the victory Saturday. And what happens after that, it's really up to everyone else.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Keith. We'll take our next question from Rich Diasio. Rich, if you unmute, you can ask your question.
Yes, sir. Yeah, thank you for taking my call. My question is there a mindset that he has to bounce back and look spectacular and go back to his ways of knocking out his opponents, or coming off a loss? Is he going to be just satisfied with a victory?
Viniendo de tu primera derrota, ¿tú sientes que debes que venir este sábado y tratar de ganar por knockout, o nada más sientes que una ganada suficiente va a ser suficiente?
Creo que mi récord apunta, ¿verdad? Se inclina a un solo way. So, que no entiendo que una derrota no debe de cambiar mis planes.
He says that a loss doesn't change his plans as to who he is as a fighter. He says his record speaks for itself, 15 knockouts. And so coming this Saturday, he's not going to change who he is as a fighter. And you're going to see the Subriel Matias you saw before the defeat.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I don't know if Subriel has a prediction for Saturday. It sounds like he's coming for a knockout, but does he predict his method of victory for Saturday?
¿Cómo piensas que vas a ganar este sábado?
Pues mira, algo que me interesó de mi oponente fue que él dijo que no íbamos a llegar a la distancia, y estoy muy de acuerdo con él.
He said Malik said that it wouldn't go the distance, and he says he agrees with that prediction.
Great. Well, we wish you luck the rest of the way. We thank you for your time today. Good luck for the weigh-in tomorrow, and we will see you then and again on Saturday night.
Muchas gracias y mucha suerte para este sábado.
Gracias a ustedes.
He says thanks to you.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Sammy. All right, folks, we'll take a short break. We'll be up next with Claudio Marrero.
Gracias, jefe.
Gracias.
Good afternoon, Claudio. Can you hear me?
Buenas tardes, buenas tardes.
He says, good afternoon.
How you doing?
Hello, hello. Thanks for joining us. My name is Chris de Blasio, handle communications at Showtime. You're on live with some members of the press here. Got some questions for you. Anticipation of Saturday's big fight. I'm going to ask that any press with questions, please join us as usual. Use the raise hand function on the Zoom to get into queue. But for starters, I'd like to ask you, Claudio, we heard from you yesterday when you spoke with some of the Showtime announcers, and that was a private conversation, but I did want to ask you, you had a great confidence coming into this bout. Tell us what you see in your preparations, or perhaps what you expect to see Saturday across the ring that gives you confidence that you're going to win on Saturday.
Ayer cuando hablaste con ellos, hablaste con mucha confianza. ¿Qué tú piensas en tu preparación? ¿Qué has hecho que te ha dado esa confianza para este sábado?
Yo siempre he tenido esa confianza, ¿sabes? Soy un boxeador con mucha experiencia, ¿sabes? Con problemas como todo el mundo, pero gracias a Dios ya tengo mi problema resuelto y ahora estoy al 100%, ¿entiendes? Y además subí de peso, me siento muy bien en el peso que estoy ahora.
He said there's a few things, he's dealt with some personal issues, but he's doing better on that. And also the weight, he said he's going up in weight, and he feels that makes a huge difference. And also just the experience. He's very confident. He's been in this game before. And he's just very confident with everything going on in his preparation.
All right. Thank you, Sammy. We're going to go to Keith Eidick for our first question from the press.
Claudio, I was just wondering if you could tell us how big of a step up in competition you feel this is for Xavier Martinez, because you've obviously been in there with a much higher level of opposition.
En tu opinión, Xavier está tomando un tremendo peleador como tú, tiene experiencia. ¿Cómo te sientes tú para él en términos de la experiencia?
Lo admiro mucho, muchachos, por el ¿cómo se llama? La gallardía que tiene de coger esa pelea conmigo, sabiendo que yo soy un boxeador peligroso, ¿sabes? Y 2 veces campeón mundial, 3 veces, como quien dice, campeón mundial. Y lo admiro mucho, lo respeto mucho, pero no te puedo decir nada de él porque es un boxeador que viene haciendo pelea, haciendo su récord. Y pienso que al tomar esta decisión de pelear conmigo, es de respeto, ¿entiendes?
He says he respects him. He's been in the game a long time, former world champion. So he has a lot of respect and admiration for Xavier to take on this fight against him this Saturday.
What has he seen from Martinez as far as some of the wins that he's had on Showbox? He's obviously had some impressive wins, but against a opponent than him.
¿Qué tú has mirado en las ganadas que ha tenido Martínez hasta este punto de su carrera?
No he mirado nada de él. Un peleador más, ¿entiendes? Un peleador más que viene subiendo, un muchacho joven, viene subiendo y yo... Pero no te puedo decir muchas cosas de él porque no hay mucho que ver de él, ¿entiendes?
He says being honest, he hasn't seen too much about him. All he knows is he's a young man, a young lion trying to come up. But other than that, he's just another fighter in the way.
What does Claudio feel that it would do for him if he knocks off a guy who's on his way up and is pretty highly regarded based on what he's done so far?
En tu opinión, una ganada con un joven como él, ¿qué piensas que va a hacer para tu carrera?
Nada. Él es una pelea que todo contra nada, ¿entiendes? Pero este boxeo, imagínate.
He says he doesn't feel, a win against him, it's a good victory, but he says it's really just another fighter in the way. He's not a world champion or anything like that, so he doesn't know how much of a leap it will do, but for him, again, it's just another fighter, just another win that he needs to get this Saturday.
Can you ask him to elaborate on the difference in weight and how much that will help him?
¿Qué tanto te va a ayudar la diferencia en el peso, subiendo de peso?
Mucho, tenía que hacer mucho sacrificio antes para hacer 126, para no quedarle mal nunca a la televisión, y hacía mucho sacrificio. Tenía que bajar 30 libras, ¿entiendes? Y ya la edad mía, ya tú sabes.
Yeah, he said to make 126, he would have to lose up to almost 30 pounds. So even though moving up just 5 pounds, it makes a huge difference for him. And physically, he said he feels a lot better.
Thank you, Claudio.
Gracias.
Okay, thanks, Keith. If we have any other questions for Claudio Marrero, please punch in. Give it just a minute.
Esta es mi casa. Esta es mi casa. Showtime en mi casa. Nadie me gana aquí.
He said Showtime is his house. Nobody beats him on Showtime.
I'm sorry, say that again, Sammy.
He said Showtime is his house. Nobody
house.
beats him on Showtime.
Estoy cómodo aquí en mi casa.
Well, that's for sure. We're looking forward to an exciting night. There's a lot of power up and down this card, and I think there's going to be some explosive punching. You've been on Showtime 2 times already, once on Showbox and once on our championship boxing series. So we're glad to have you back for sure. All right, we have no more questions in queue for you, so we're going to let you go. Continue to prepare, and we'll take a break with the press. We'll be back with our main event fighters. Stay tuned, folks. Good luck.
Thank you. Okay, gracias.
Thank you, Sammy. Appreciate the work. with Castillo Clayton, slightly ahead of schedule here. We're very kind. Thanks, Castillo. Yeah, we finished early with a couple of the undercard fighters, and we're on to our main event. So thanks for coming down. I know you are up there at Mohegan and preparing for the weigh-in tomorrow. I'm sure that's a little bit of a challenge, as it is for every fighter. But you're coming in on a late replacement. Can you give us a sense of how your preparations have gone, and how much time you've had to prepare for this particular fight? An important one.
For sure. That's what I mean. My preparation has been very good. Like I said, I prepared very well for this fight. Short notice, but I mean, I kind of had a heads up for this fight. I'd say about probably 4 to 5 weeks. So I mean, I knew that there was a chance that I could be the replacement. So I mean, I've been actually preparing for this fight very well. Me and my team. And like I said, everything's been very good. I'm looking forward for Saturday.
So I'm going to just remind the press to use the raise hand function in the Zoom in order to get in queue to ask questions of Castillo Clayton. You said you were aware that this was a potential, that you had the potential to slot in place of Abdu Kakarov, who was the original opponent for Sergey Lipinets. For this eventuality, you said 4 or 5 weeks. Is that correct?
About 4 for sure, yeah.
Great. You're undefeated at this point. This will be your first fight in the United States. You have a decorated amateur career, highly regarded by our announce team and by